Alright guys, we're back with more of The Letter and all its shady and creepy glory. So kick back guys, hope you continue to enjoy watching, and with that said, let's keep it going. Alright guys, we're continuing on from where we last left off. How I wish I can be as oblivious to it as him right now.
Hey Ash.
Everything snaps back into place at its sound, and the veil lifts from my mind. All of my reasons for being here rushes back to me along with it, no longer held by that familiar, bitter feeling slowly consuming my thoughts. But still there, coiled in a tight knot in my chest, simply waiting for another chance to unfurl itself.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
Lies.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you. Figures.
It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
Funny how he remembers me now. Not a few moments ago, he's unknowingly taken that one little thing I hold dear and allowed the burden of his bloody sentiments to crush it. After all these years, I'm the one that becomes the afterthought. But I take this mention of my name as my cue to compose myself and hide all of these somewhere safe, preferably somewhere no one else will find. Just like how it has always been. Ultimately, this isn't what I came here for.
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
At the light rap I give the door, Zachary breaks off mid-sentence at once. Their eyes are on me when I slide into the room, though their intention doesn't really stay. Soon, the bag I'm carrying catches their eye, and they're both shooting me bewildered looks. Zachary in particular appears about to say something, but can't quite place how he'll articulate it. A swift glance at Ashton tells me the same thing, though the question in his eyes comes off more passive, muted. I raise a hand at them before they can say something about it.
It's not mine.
The light mood changes as soon as I've finished. They know. I don't have to spell it out for them. I don't think they want me to when reality is just lying a few inches away from us. Either way, the atmosphere doesn't last. The world isn't done rendering my heart useless as it turns out. Even Zachary, clueless as he is, gapes at me with a worried crease on his forehead. He has the right to be. The bitter tone my voice takes once the conversation turns elsewhere surprises me too.
No, I'll take it from here.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
Despite knowing Ashton only means well with his offer, hearing it directly from him, seeing him throw his affections around as if no one knows, it stings. It burns.
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
And Zach has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca.
Yet when all is said and done, the only thing I do is beat a hasty retreat while that green-eyed monster rages inside me.
All three of us have things to take care of on our own, but between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good.
This isn't the proper place for it. With my words too strained, too quiet, no amount of anger would get my own feelings across to him. 17 years and it never once did. What more now?
Do what you want.
It ends with 3 steps and a hastily shoved bag. In all honesty, I'm not entirely sure what I'm expecting was shown in Ashton's face. Anger to match mine? Confusion maybe? Or perhaps regret? It certainly isn't the straight-faced one he has now. However, more than that, beyond the impassive mask he wears, in the passing minute I lock gazes with him, I see it. And the glimpses of it, out of everything tonight, is what shatters all that remains of my restraint. I don't wait for him to say anything. Quickly, I tear my eyes away from his and march towards the door, ignoring the worried glances Zachary shoots my way. My heart may be far from fragile, but neither of them needs to see it break. The door closes with a soft click, but for a long moment, I remain standing amidst the empty hall. Taking in the silence, listening for anything that'll dare break it, waiting for that hammer to finally fall to the ground, swallow me whole. None of it happens, of course, and for what perhaps the 100th time in the span of a second, I'm left to recall what I saw in Ashton. It's not hearing the thoughtfully worded admission of his own feelings that did it, nor seeing those unguarded yearning glances he gave her, but facing the faraway look in his eyes and what? No. Who? who he has always seen past me, past the person who has always stood in front of him. I never had him in the first place.
I love him.
The words itself leave a bitter aftertaste in my mouth despite wanting them to be heard for so long. Suddenly, at their mere utterance, the world goes too still, too bright, too sharp. Too cold. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into my heart and settles there, replacing a warmth I no longer remember feeling. Distant, much like the only memories I have of this place. When nothing else to cling to, I run. Behind me, the door once again creaks open, and Zachary calls after me, cordial, friendly, and utterly unsuspecting. I ignore all of it, because even after all this, he isn't the voice I want to hear. I make it out of the hospital in a flurry of steps, my mind abuzz with thoughts and emotions in turmoil. Ignoring the courteous smiles every staff member shoots my way or the voice shouting after me, my footfalls hit hard against the pavement. Each stride, a stark refusal. Each distance I put, a continued denial. More than once, a passing passenger would give me looks. Is it pity, consternation, scorn, or dismay?
It doesn't matter now, does it?
All I hear are the voices inside my head, jeering, mocking while the rest of the world blurs around me. I'm the one who has always been by his side. I'm the one who knew more about him than anyone. Why couldn't it have been me? But the universe doesn't have an answer for that, and neither does anyone. So I run, until everything fades away from my mind, until my breathing goes labored, until my legs buckle, feet catching on loose stone and the world tilting sideways at long last. A yelp comes from my mouth, but the pain I'm expecting, hoping for, doesn't. When awareness returns to me in a rush of sounds and colors, it isn't his hand that grips my arm, nor the sharp gleam usually in his eyes that I see. Far, a striking contrast. This one's softer, kinder. Though worry slightly mars his voice, there's nothing in it but genuine concern. Zachary's. It's always a wonder how they even became friends.
Easy there, ma'am.
He doesn't waste any time, not even to wait for some form of gratitude from me, and quickly pulls me to my feet. However, it isn't until he draws a handkerchief from his pocket and gingerly hands it to me that I glance up at him, searching for an explanation.
For your, face.
He makes a vague gesture around his cheeks, his movement small and a bit awkward, before letting his arm fall and hang at his side, suddenly too afraid to point it out. He does not retract his hand offering the handkerchief though, merely giving me a sheepish shrug and another smile when I finally lift the hand up my cheek and it comes away wet. Oh. I cast him another look, wary, unsure. But all he has for me is the same accepting smile. There's a question behind it, but for the moment he holds off. So with another indrawn breath, I take the offered cloth, if only to keep my hands occupied while I put myself together.
Thanks.
No problem. Take your time if you want, and I'll just be here, pretending I didn't see anything, and take your time.
Zachary's polite enough to avert his gaze, and only when the last of the tears have been wiped away does he say anything.
You okay? The floor almost had you there.
Yeah, thanks again. Sorry about that.
The words will ring hollow even to my ears, and I'm not certain either if they're meant to be an apology for all his troubles or for showing him his this pathetic side of me. Nevertheless, he accepts them.
Nah, it is cool. Surprised me though. Didn't think you could run that fast. But you don't look really well right now. Something happened?
No, nothing. Nothing important. I was just a little shaken, I think, from all that running. I'll be fine, Zachary.
Well, don't push yourself too hard, alright? I'm sure Bella will understand if you ever decide to take a break. Hell, she wouldn't want us fussing over like this. If you aren't feeling up to it, just say so. Let Ashton and I take over now. It ain't a big deal.
Oh, I'm sure Ashton would love that.
Regret follows the second the heated words leave my mouth and the light mood inevitably shatters. As black as my mood might have been, Zachary doesn't deserve to receive the brunt of it. No one does. Even Ashton. Yet all I see in my head right now is the image of him sitting inside that room, spilling his heart out unlike he ever did for me, wearing such sincerity I've never seen in him before. The concerned expression returns to Zachary's face, and with it are the hundreds of questions he's been avoiding to ask. Under his honest scrutiny, I balk. I look away before he can see past this and catch a glimpse of an ugly side of me. But considering how well I've handled this so far, I won't be shocked if he already thinks less of me.
Rebecca, is everything really alright?
I bet he already knows the answer to that. Regardless of appearances, Zach can be quite as perceptive as Ashton. It's part of the reason why they became friends in the first place. Frankly, I don't understand why he's still making an effort to ask. For the sake of being polite? Responding to that will only open a whole different can of worms. He should also know that. What a mess. Okay, here we go. I don't know what this would normally entail. I honestly feel like, I didn't mean that. What do you even know? The best thing to do now is to simply end this. Alright, let's go with, I didn't mean that. Regardless of his good intentions, Zachary doesn't deserve to be caught in the same kind of chaos my mind is in right now.
I'm sorry, Zachary. I didn't mean that.
Smile, bottle it up. Hide it where other people can't judge, even if it leaves me wanting for a more explosive outburst. At least this way, there's no guilt apart from the one I have to suffer myself.
I know you don't. You're actually scarier than that when you mean it.
Am I? Really?
Only a bit. A wee bit. Don't take that personally, please. I mean, you're a really nice person, but you also have to deal with Ash and Bella sometimes. That takes a lot of patience, especially Ash. And you're a teacher, so I guess...
Zachary?
Yes, ma'am?
You don't have to say anything to make me feel better about myself. I'm tougher than that.
Oh, well, I was just...
Besides, I've already heard most of those from Isabella. I'm used to it. Trust me.
Zachary's eyebrows are drawn together when I glance back at him, his mouth opening and closing in a weak attempt to answer my reassurances. This probably isn't where he wants to take this little talk, but the turn it took left him no other choice. Much like how found himself thrust in this position. Out of all people, he now has to be the one standing in the middle to fix things, even when no such obligations have been handed to him. Bloody, he didn't need to follow me, but that's just how he is. This is an unintentional mistake on my part too, yes, though I still can't help but feel responsible. The best apology I can give him right now is a light pat to his arm, a bit half-hearted coming from me, but I do it still. It's not like I have any other thing left I can offer.
Look, Zachary. All of this. It's probably just the stress talking. Don't worry about me. We've all been on the edge since the news broke. I haven't even gotten a decent sleep since it started, and it still doesn't seem like things will be slowing down anytime soon. Maybe it's a good thing Ashton volunteered when he did. At least now we have a few hours to rest, yes? Take your own advice and go get a break yourself, okay?
I throw in another smile at him for good measure, but it falters the second my eyes meet his. It's that look again. The one too honest. If I hold it for a moment longer, I'll probably end up saying things I shouldn't, more than what I'm willing to disclose in the moment. Because despite wanting to get these feelings across, these are also ones I've harbored longer than any. If Ashton won't have them, then neither has the world any right to do so. I'm more than happy to cling to these if it will keep the misery at bay. I've already done so before. It won't change a damn thing. So, without bothering with a goodbye, I walk away. Zachary doesn't stop me, doesn't reach out a hand or call out my name. This is as far as he'll allow himself to cross. For all his concerns between the two of us, he's more familiar with this line we keep between us than I am. He won't intrude far from what those boundaries will allow. But when his voice rings out again above the din of traffic around us in the last attempt to reach me, it does exactly what he's been reluctant to do.
Hey, Rebecca! About Ashton.
I stop and turn to look at him nevertheless. Even with half a mind to bolt, caught between the small urge to hide until this simply blows over and my own curiosity.
Frankly, I don't really understand what happened back there. I ain't gonna pretend I get the gist of it. I ain't sure if this'll help either, but look, he might be the smartest guy I know, but there are times when things go straight over his head. Way over his head.
No malice, no ill will in it. Their words not meant to hurt, just another truth because apparently we've got heaps of those to throw around today.
So, I think you should talk to him, at least. You don't have to do it, of course. That's just my 2 cents. Ashton can be a bit dense. Sometimes things really work better if you just say it to him.
Zachary ends it with a shrug, as casual and nonchalant as he can manage. The nervous lines of his shoulders tell a different story, however. He wants to say more, but this is all what those metaphorical boundaries we keep will allow. What I will allow for now. In the end, he simply settles for a smile of his own, reluctant, unwilling to leave things here, but with no expectations of it being returned. He's the one who departs first seconds later, leaving the ghost of what he said hanging over me. And perhaps it's exactly the fear of being left with these thoughts that leads me to the cafe instead. Less time to think about these things as long as I'm moving in the company of other people. At this hour, the cafe is filled to the brim with people. That's the reason Isabella and I rarely ever go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare our food ourselves in the comfort of our homes, and there really isn't much reason to eat out lately. Alright, let me check out the relationship. Alright, well, we boosted things up with Zach, which is cool. I expected as much. I don't know. Maybe we should have been honest, but I feel like she's not the type to be honest like that. No, you know, who knows, right? No time for long lines. Better spend that doing something productive, yes?
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only a few people are idling around the counter. Four of them, in fact, a woman in her 60s and a teenager busy with his phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. The other two, a posh-looking man and a child who I immediately recognize as Kylie, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. For some reason, my stare lingers at the guy. Though dressed relatively well and looks harmless, I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps? Even so, there's something familiar in him. It feels like I've seen him somewhere before. That also begs the question why Kylie is with him. Of course, the girl easily takes a liking to anyone who buys her sweets, so it's both a bit worrisome and unsurprising. The blonde bloke doesn't look particularly thrilled with the company, though. I turn my eyes away from them soon enough once the guy at the counter appears ready to take my order. That, and I'd also hate to be accused of ogling strangers.
Irish stew. Just for one person.
He quickly raises an eyebrow at that while I swiftly avert my eyes down to my hands, although I don't miss the consoling look he gives me. I rarely visit here alone if I can help it. Often it's always with Isabella. She can be a bad influence sometimes. But that's precisely why this guy has known us long enough that if I ever drop by here alone, he already has a number of ideas why. Doubtless he's already heard what happened in the news. No need to bring it up in something as casual as ordering food. There's a proper time and place for grief and empty sympathies. He gives me a small smile before leaving to prepare my order while I fish for my wallet when...
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
Their parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle.
I still laugh at Kylie's voice. It's just... I don't know. It's not bad, it's just funny to me.
Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
I don't care.
Nice save, I guess.
What I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention instantly snaps back to them and their conversation. Jumping to conclusions isn't something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are baseless assumptions, but you can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the cafe seems to have noticed his words either. Very suspicious words. Still, I don't move. Yet. But my hands has already shifted from my wallet to the book I'm carrying. A hardbound textbook. Looks harmless, but if a situation calls for it, it might be a good deadly weapon. Might. I haven't gotten the chance to try it anywhere so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
Man, you can hear the you can hear him being so patronizing.
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise. I want to go home. I miss Mama.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one.
See, those types of words are very shady. I think he needs to reword that.
The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. And I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Oh, that's it. No hesitation. In a few paces, he's within my reach, and without warning, I'm slamming the flat area of the book against his skull. Ow! There's a cry of pain, followed by him instantly crouching down, hands nursing the sore spot. Almost comically, if this were a different situation and the safety of St. Goretti student isn't at stake, I'll probably feel sorry for him. I mean, has anyone seen how thick this book is?
Get behind me, Kylie.
Miss Pink!
It's amusing how fast her expression changes from the pouty one earlier to something that of utter delight upon seeing me. But there's no time for any pleasantries, not even quick ones, because soon the man straightens and I'm readying my favorite newfound weapon for another hit. Except this time he's ready, and before I can land another one, his hand shoots up to catch my wrist in a firm hold. And the look on his face.
Bloody hell, woman! What's your problem?
To say he's pissed would be a complete understatement. Had I been the weak-willed sort, I'd probably cower under this sharp gaze. But that simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can scare me and do as he pleases here just because I'm a woman or whatever his reasons may be, he's got another thing coming for him. So instead, I return it to him with the same intensity, with the same venom.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
Oh, you think that scares me, Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
His grip on my hand only tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with anger and sarcasm, but the gleam in his eyes says it all. He's getting a kick out of this. Riling people up, getting on their nerves, invading their personal space. He knows exactly what and which buttons to push. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this... If he thinks I'm gonna give in to his goading, please, he might as well just kiss his sorry behind. I think we're just gonna go for the... We're gonna go for the win, guys. And it's gonna hurt him. And we're gonna laugh.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
A fair warning. Fairer than any I can offer for people of his kind, and I'm already being considerate. Hell, this doesn't even deserve... He doesn't even deserve a warning. If he doesn't listen, well, he's as much responsible for what will happen next as anyone.
Or else what?
Uh-oh.
Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm. Why don't you?
5.
A second of silence. Then without any preamble, my leg moves in one fluid motion and delivers a swift, powerful, well-placed kick to his nether regions. I knew it. Needless to say, the effect is instantaneous. He yelps, abruptly drops his hold on me, and kneels over, howling from the pain. I can see tears forming at the corners of his eyes too, though the mere sight of it prompts not an ounce of remorse for me. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty little prick with an ego too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him ever procreating remains to be known, but a part of me is already praying he doesn't ever breed after this. We have no need of more of him in this world.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass!
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Oh man, really? You're gonna ask a stupid question like that?
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife.
That much at least appears to have a sliver of truth to it. He even makes a show of brandishing his left hand to my face with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all that earned him is an unimpressed glare from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whatever poor woman married this sod. I don't understand why he has to bring her up either, as if a mention of her alone will magically present a solution to his problem. She must truly be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Oh man, he's so funny right now.
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my Teal?
Oh, that's her uncle? Whatever word's still left to be said here dies on my tongue. The same thing goes for that sleaze. Besides us stands Kylie, gawking at us with the same curious stare she often brings with her. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here for today. Thank you for watching. Until the next one.